Good morning, day 139, cooking down the freezer, refrigerator, and working pantry food. So I'm still here at it. Anyway, I was thinking this morning, I always try to cook like for one meal, sometimes two, if I'm planning on having some leftovers. But that's a difficult process. Cooking for one is not an easy task. So I'm going to be working on that a little bit harder. And like I said, sometimes I will be cooking for two meals. But when you're trying to cook down your freezer, you don't want to make so many meals that you're filling up your freezer again. So anyway, I guess there were a couple more food plant mishaps this weekend, and yeah, this is getting to be not a good thing, and we have to be smarter than they are and stay one step ahead of these people, because with everything else going on, there are rotten people in the world that all they care about is lining their pockets, and they only care about themselves. So these people are dangerous, and they need to be dealt with in a smart way, and that's by keeping ahead of them. So my coffee dripper here is dripping at a snail's pace, and I just descaled this. Okay, so it's finally done. The weather is finally starting to warm up a little bit. I'm happy about that. But I'm still a little leery about putting my baby plants out there. You know, it's like, well, not really like when your kids take off to college, but, you know, you raise something from a little seed and you start to care about it. All right, call me crazy, that's okay. But anyway, yeah, they're growing okay, nicely under the lights, but they're to the point now where they're getting too tall for the lights. So they're going to have to go outside, and I think I'm going to stick them in my one of my little greenhouses out there. But today I have a lot of laundry to do, and I'm going to try and just stay home and get some things done here. Watch a little YouTube maybe, and kind of make it a relaxing day, even though I do have a lot of things to do. So I have to do probably 3 or 4 loads of laundry. I don't know how that always gets away from me. I'm one person. And it's not like I'm dressing to the nines constantly. You know, it's usually pajamas or working in the house clothes. But somehow they always seem to pile up. I guess I need more of a routine. All right, well, I have plenty of food in the refrigerator, and I'll take you there in a little bit, and we'll see what's for breakfast. Day 139. All right, time for breakfast. Day 139. Let's see what's in the fridge. Okay, this is my grandson's stuff. Yesterday, my daughter bought me a sandwich, so I only ate half, and it was from Penn Station. I like their artichoke and mushroom sandwich, so I'm going to have that for breakfast this morning. Nothing fancy. I'll heat it up. And I think what I want to do, I have 3 eggs that I hard-boiled yesterday, and I still have the juice from this pickled beets. So I think future me would like a pickled egg, because I'm thinking about maybe a salad tonight. I have all this chopped up lettuce already. I still have some of this pea salad. And then the eggs. So I don't know, we'll see. Alright, well for now I'm going to have the sandwich. And I will meet you at the stove. All those happy faces. My refrigerator makes me happy. I know some people don't like anything on their fridge, but I look at these all day long. Alright, hello, hello. So I was looking through my produce, and I put this ginger by my onions because I read that onions make things sprout. I don't know if that's true, but I wanted to try and plant this, and I do have some sprouts coming up. I mean, some of it is getting a little dry, but yeah, I want to try and grow some ginger. So I'm going to see if that's ready to plant. And then, of course, I still have this juice from the beets. I always save this and make things out of it. So here is a hard-boiled egg that's going in. And then looking through my onions, I found this. So, and it's starting to get soft, so I'm going to cut this up and stick it in with the egg and make some pickled onions. Alright, I'm going to cut this up and I'll be back. Okay, well, some of the onion had rotted off already. That's what I mean, you gotta check your produce. But I'm just going to cut this in little strips, not too thick, not too thin, and then I'm just going to put them into the beet juice, and you'll have some pickled onions, some very tasty pickled onions, and they'd be good for a burger or in a salad. And if this isn't enough, I have another jar of it in the fridge. And you can make some pickled vegetables and pickled eggs. So alright, that's all I'm going to do. Just cut that up a little bit and just stick it all in the jar and let that get pickled for a couple days. And that'll be something to look forward to. So you want to make sure everything's underneath the juice. You can do red onions, you can do sweet onions, you can do any kind of onions this way. And if you like, you can add some more seasonings to this, peppercorns or, you know, whatever you like. This could use a little bit more beet juice, so I'm going to get that out of the fridge and add it. But there you go. Alright, I will be back. Okay, well, I was in my fridge, and I didn't feel like digging way to the back of it, so I have some of this olive juice. So I'm just going to add some of that, because I saved the juice from my olives and pickles, and then I can reuse them. Some people like to reheat the juice and reuse it, but I don't think that's necessary unless you're going to keep something for a long time. And then there's only a couple olives left in here, so I'm going to put a little bit of that in too. Of course, if you don't like olives, that wouldn't be the thing for you to do. But I do like olives, so I'm just going to stir that up. And this should be ready in a day or two. Alright, just make sure everything is covered and you're good to go. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so I just heated up my sandwich in some foil for about 15 minutes. So that's all good to go. And then I had 4 little olives left in here. Now this olive juice has some chyme on top of it, and apparently that's not harmful, but I won't save that. It's just unappetizing to me. But, you know, if your olive juice or pickle juice looks good, then, you know, you can go right ahead and use it. But I don't want to use that. Alright, so anyway, here is my breakfast, day 139, and I'm going to enjoy this. Well, good morning, and ooh, coffee's steaming. There's only a little bit left, but I'm going to finish it. A little hot. Anyway, today I think it's a good day to have a pajama day. I haven't had a pajama day in a long time. It's not real cold out, but it's just kind of really cloudy and damp. So I'm nice and cozy in my sweater and my jammies. Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about, I'm thinking of bolstering my protein sources. And, you know, when you're vegetarian, you can use flour and make seitan as a protein source. Bob's Red Mill makes a TVP, and this actually has 12 grams of protein. And you can mix this with other things like peas or something and continue to up the protein level. But I have a few packs of Butler soy curls, and I think I want to get a few more, because I noticed when I looked on Amazon that they're up to $45 now for a 6-pack, and they used to be like $35, so that's a $10 increase, which is a lot. So I'm thinking about maybe upping the things I can use for protein sources. Now you can always use, of course, beans and rice, or, you know, anything like that, and that'll make a complete protein. But I don't want to end up not having enough protein sources if the proverbial poop hits the fan. So, I mean, I'm not going to get myself into a panic mode. You know, you plan for the worst and hope for the best. That's my philosophy. So I do think I'm going to spend a little extra money and stock up on some of those things. Now my indoor gardens so far are doing pretty well. I'm not disappointed in what's happening so far, but you know, they're still small. So I couldn't eat a whole meal of lettuces or anything like that because I haven't grown enough. And I don't want to plant a bunch of seeds until I figure out what I'm doing. So, but I think it's going to work out well. And there's a lot of good hydroponic systems out there that you can use for indoor hydroponic gardens that really are not that expensive. I know Arrow Garden is probably the premier Cadillac brand, but I don't know, even my little Ambiano hydroponic garden thing is doing pretty well. So, but like I said, I'm still in the experiment stages, and I don't want to go gung-ho until I know what I'm doing. But my goal is to sort of have enough indoor greens that I won't have to buy them in the winter. Now I'm hoping that our summer produces a good yield of veggies for me. That would be awesome. But right now, I think by next week maybe I can start planting things outside. I'm going to move my little tomatoes into my little greenhouse and keep an eye on them out there. It's in the shade, but they need to be hardened off. So I'm planning on doing that. And what do you guys think about all the things going on, especially lately here in this country, with the food? And leave me opinion down below. And if you don't agree with me, if you think I'm bat poop crazy, that's okay too. Everybody has their own opinions, right? So I did order my reed fencing. So I need to work on putting up the other fence in the backyard, just to keep my dogs in, and also to keep animals out of the yard, because my dogs love to hunt. They love to go on the hunt. And I know I have a squirrel back there that kind of, I see her or him running around on the deck, and I know it drives my dogs crazy. But the other day I saw her digging in my pot out there. So I'm hoping she's not going to make a habit of digging up my seedlings, because sometimes they tend to do that. So when I was at Costco, I bought a 40-pound bag of dog food. That was about $35. And then they had the nubs on sale, and they each get half of one of those at night. I either give them that, or they have the Dentabone type thing that I give them for their teeth. So I break them in half, and half of a one is enough for them. So they each get one of those at night. But I like to stock up on the nubs when they're on sale, because it's a really good price. But that's another reason why I wanted to stock up on some more things that are protein, high in protein, because with the way the latest thing, bird flu, is going, and they're slaughtering all these poor birds, it impacts the cat food and the dog food. So I want another source of protein for my animals should I need it. So for me, it's worth it to invest a little bit into buying some of that. Another thing I bought a big canister of Coffee Mate non-dairy creamer. That was $6. And I thought, well, if I have to, I'll buy a couple bottles of chocolate syrup or something and mix up something that's palatable to me for my coffee. So that would last me a long time. I forget how many cups you get out of it. Let me check. Okay, it has 793 servings. Well, I don't think so. I mean, that's for 3/4 of a teaspoon, and I would use at least a teaspoon and a half. So, but this stuff has no nutrition in it at all. It has calories. It has 10, which isn't too bad. Calories and fat. That's about it. It has no protein. Oh, it does have 1 gram of carbs, and it has 5 milligrams of sodium. And of course, the ingredients aren't great either, but I thought, if something happens, then I at least want my coffee to taste good. So I got that, and that'll last for years. And my mother loves this stuff, so I may even give her half of it. And, she can use that as well. So I'm trying to use up my veggies. I still have a little bit of cauliflower. I still have some lettuce, peppers. I think I'm going to dehydrate those so that, you know, I can make it easier to store. I have enough in the freezer that are frozen that I really don't need any more fresh peppers. But I have the little mini peppers too, and I'll save those for my salads because I don't want to waste anything. Food is just too expensive, you know. I mean, it used to be, oh, okay, I'll throw the lettuce away, no big deal. But, you know, you can't do that anymore. It's just not feasible. And then, you know, if down the road you're hungry and you're thinking, oh, I shouldn't have thrown that lettuce away. But anyway, so those are some of the things that I'm doing. I'm going to continue working on my gardening. And another thing, and I've talked about this before, but I haven't done it yet, I want to start walking. And I have exercises for my neck and my back because I went through therapy at one point and I saved all the paperwork. So I'm going to see if that won't help me become a little bit more or a little bit less debilitated. So I'm going to slowly work into it though, because if you do it too quickly, if you have symptoms that make you uncomfortable, it's only going to make it worse. So easing into it, I think, is the key to being successful. So anyway, I can't think of anything else right now that I wanted to talk with you about. What are you guys up to? Are you gardening? Are you stocking up? Are you just doing your own thing? What's happening with you guys? What's going on in your life? I love to read your comments. So, all right, I will be back, I don't know, with some dinner in a while, or if I think of anything else to say, I'll be back again. All right, I was looking around in my pantry, and I've had this Seitan quick mix for quite a long time, and I think it's time to use it. I want some deli slices for some sandwiches, so I'm just going to make up a recipe here. So I can use this up. So this is basically Vital Wheat gluten with some seasoning in it. I bought this, like I said, a long time ago. But there's a couple of other things that I want to use up, so I'm just going to combine things and see what I come up with. Okay, so I still have this much of the pea salad left over, and that I made the other day. I do have a video for that. But I'm not going to eat all this, so I do want to use it up. I want to save some of it for a salad for later on, or maybe tomorrow. But a lot of the recipes for making seitan call for tofu. Well, I have tofu, but I want to use this up. But some of them also have pea protein in it, so I thought, well, why not? You know, and I put bacon bits in here, so it's already sort of bacony flavored. So I ended up putting veggie ham seasoning, broth ham seasoning in here. So I need to blitz this up. So I'm going to take about half of it, and then I'm going to add some water because this is going to be the liquid part of the seitan. And I have no idea how much I'm going to use. A lot of the recipes will call for a 14 to 16 ounce block of seitan. So I'm just going to eyeball this and see what we come up with. Alright, so the rest of this I will eat for a meal yet. And this is a way to extend the life of the salad, because they said that this would be good in the fridge for about 3 days, and we're approaching 3 days. Alright, so in this bowl I have a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, 2 tablespoons beetroot powder. The reason I put that in there was because obviously this is green and I don't really want green deli slices. So I figured that the combination of the two would make it like a brownish color. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1 tablespoon of ham broth seasoning. You can get that online. A teaspoon of accent. If you don't like that or you're afraid to use it, then leave it out. A teaspoon of garlic powder, teaspoon of onion powder, and a teaspoon of rosemary. So I'm hoping that the ham broth seasoning, that I wasn't too heavy-handed on that. But we'll find out. Either way, I'll slice it up and I'll eat it on a sandwich, and I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, here is the Seitan mix, the Vital Wheat gluten, and I'm going to put a cup in there. And this looks like it's about 1.5 cups. So I'll save the rest for another dish. Or if I need to add it after I add the liquid, then I'll do that. Because like I said, I'm eyeballing this and kind of going by the seat of my pants here. Alright, I'm going to whisk this all together. And then I'm going to blend this up with some water. Alright, so I'm going to add about start off with 1/2 cup of water. I may need more than that, but we'll start off with that. And I'm also going to add this little packet of malt vinegar. It came with the sandwich yesterday that I didn't use. The reason that I do some vinegar in with my seitan is because sometimes seitan has a little bit of an aftertaste, and this helps with that. So this is probably about a teaspoon, I would guess. So I'm going to mix this up and see if it's going to be thin enough to make this into a dough that isn't too stiff. Alright, I'm going to blitz this up and I'll be back. Here's the beetroot powder that I used, and I got this at Walmart a while back, and this was about $10. But if you're going to use it in seitan, it goes a long way. So that's where I got that. Alright, well, I'm hoping this has a ham-like flavor. It won't look like ham, but you know, I'm hoping that it has a ham-like taste. Of course, it's not going to taste exactly like ham. It's not a pig, but you know, we make do with things. Gotta be creative. So I may need to add more water, I'm not sure, but for now I'm just going to add this in and start mixing it up. Alright. I don't know, to me this is fun. and it's nutritious. You know, it may not look pretty all the time, but that's all right. It can still taste good, even if it doesn't look pretty. But my biggest concern with this is that it's not too salty. But I find that ham seasoning usually isn't very salty. So mix this real well and see if it doesn't need more vital wheat gluten. From looking at it, I'm thinking it's going to need more because it's pretty soft, and I think I want it to be firmer if it's going to be for a deli style meat, but I need to mix this a little better. Alright, I'm going to mix this up and then I'll show you what I think it should look like once I get this mixed in. Alright, this definitely needs more vital wheat gluten. So there's about a half a cup, maybe more left in here, and I'm just going to keep adding it until I feel is the right consistency. And then the more you need seitan, the tougher it gets, but sometimes you want that. You know, especially in a deli meat, you want to make it sliceable. You don't want something real soft. So that was about a quarter cup that I just added, another quarter cup. And I'm just going to get in there with my hands. Best tools ever. Now this isn't the kind of dough that you want to stick to your hands. Once the seitan or the vital wheat gluten is hydrated, it doesn't stick to your hands, and it usually doesn't stick to the board either. So, alright, I can already tell I need more. And if this packet isn't enough, then I have more vital wheat gluten that I can get out. After a while, you get the feel for how you want the dough to be. Right now, this would make a very, very soft loaf, and that's not what I'm looking for. Alright, I'm going to keep adding some of the vital wheat gluten until I get it to the right consistency, and I'll be back. Okay, so this is about how you want your seitan to look. It's going to start forming some strands. And you want to knead this for a good 10 minutes because we want a firm dough. So I'm going to let this rest for about a half an hour to let the gluten develop, and we'll see what we come up with. Alright, I've been looking around in my pantry because my deli slices, I want to put a little crust around the perimeter of it. So anyway, I found these spice things, and I found this pork rub, and I've had that forever. I want to use that up. What I'm trying to do is go in my working pantry and use things that I already have so I don't have to go buy anything. But I'm still stocking up my long-term pantry. So I have all these different spices in there, and this one's southern hickory, so I could make like a smoked ham type of flavor on it, along with the pork rub, and I think that's what I'm going to do. But I also have pasta seasoning, I have poultry rubs, and I've had these for a long time. Rotisserie herbs, another poultry rub, garlic plus, it's like for pastas, and this is another garlic plus. So I have all these herbs and spices that I want to use up. But for today I'm going to use this, and my seitan is resting. So I'll be back when it's done napping. So I ended up putting probably about another cup of Vital Wheat gluten in with this. So it's more like 2 cups to start with, along with the liquid that I had. So it has to be a ratio so it's not too wet and not too dry. So we'll see how this turns out, because this is an experiment for me. I haven't made this before, and I'm making it this way to try and use things up. Okay, I'm back. So this is some heavy-duty foil. I oiled it with some just cooking spray. And now I want to add the rub. So I want to coat the whole loaf in a rub. So I'm going to sprinkle this on here. And then I'm also going to put some of this hickory smoked on there. Oops, that's quite a bit. Well, anyway, and mix this up. And the thing is, you want to coat the whole loaf. So you're going to take your loaf, and if you make this like a turkey or something like that, of course you're going to use different seasonings, but I just want this whole loaf to be covered in this nice rub. And this one happens to be for pork, so it should be good. Alright, that looks good. Looks like it's all coated. Alright, now I want this to be kind of rounded because I'm going to be making deli slices. Alright, I'm going to clean my hands. Okay, now I'm going to wrap this real well, and preheat your oven to 350. I'm going to use my toaster oven, so I really don't bother preheating that, but you can if you want to. So, okay. Just going to wrap this kind of tightly. Tuck that under, tuck that under. There we go. And I'm going to bake this on a sheet for 30 minutes to begin, all wrapped up at 350. Okay, so I'm going to bake this at 350 for 30 minutes, covered up. Then I'm going to open it and bake it another 35 minutes. You have to see. You don't want it to burn, so keep an eye on it. And then I'm excited to see what this is going to turn out like, because I've made seitan many times, but I haven't made it with the tea salad. For an afternoon cup of tea, and my seitan is done. So let's take a look. Smells good. Now you need to put this in the refrigerator overnight, but I really want to taste it to see if it's any good. All right, let me get a knife and I'm just going to taste a little piece of it. By sticking this in the refrigerator, it will firm up. So I'm just going to give it a little taste, then I'm going to wrap it back in the foil and stick it in the fridge. Now this end piece might be a little bit spicy because, well, it has a lot of seasoning on it. But here's what it looks like. Almost looks like a roast beef. Let me give it a try. Has a good texture. And the flavor is good too. I think this would be very tasty on a sandwich. To me, it's as tasty as the little tiny packs of lunch meat that you can buy, the vegan lunch meats. This to me is just as tasty. And every once in a while, I mean, I'm not real crazy about all the vegan lunch meats, but I do like their roast beef one. The vegan roast beef is okay, and the vegan salami is okay too. But yeah, I'm happy with this. So if you have seitan, if you want to make seitan, and you have vital wheat gluten, and you have different things that you can mix in with it, it's really a matter of dry ingredients and wet ingredient ratio. So you can put all kinds of things in seitan and make it taste decent. All right, so I'm happy with this. I'll eat a sandwich with this tomorrow. But this is not going to be my dinner. So I'll be back later. All right, I've got my chicken fingers, not chicken fingers, cooking. And I'm only making 3. I'm trying to stretch my food as much as I can. Just to get used to not overeating and not wasting food. Because sometimes eating too much food is wasting food too. Because your body doesn't need it and you just eat it because you don't want to waste it. So making the right portions of food, I think, is my next focus in this series. So I think 3 of these will be enough, and there's still plenty in there for several meals yet. Okay, so I have a little bit of the onion that I had that kind of grew in my bin. So I'm going to put some of that on here. And also these olives. I really like these green olives that I got from Dollar Tree. They're really good. They're very mild. Okay, so I have that, and then I have my pea salad. And I'm only going to take half of that because the whole thing would be too much. So I'm going to put a dollop of that in the middle. And I'll have enough maybe for one more sandwich. There's just a little bit left. So making the seitan out of this really worked out well. So there are lots of things you can put in your seitan. Some people add beans. You can add black beans, you can add navy beans, any kind of bean, chickpeas. So I figured why not peas, and I think it turned out really good. So I have an egg here too, and that's why I'm only having 3 of the chicken fries, because I think that's enough protein, and this will fill me up. So I just keep my eggshells for the garden. You guys know that. So 1 hard-boiled egg, and I did buy extra eggs just in case, because the price is going up again. And I know you can dehydrate eggs too, but I haven't quite gotten to that point yet. So, and my son got some chickens, and so I'm sure if I want, he'll give me some eggs. And eventually my daughter will get some chickens too, and I know she'll give me some eggs, which I would be very happy about. So I'm just going to chop up this egg, and I was listening to a YouTube video. I think Dr. Eric Berg was talking about how good eggs are for you. You know, they kind of got a bad rap. When was that, in the 70s or something, because of the cholesterol. But like so many things that are facts, it turns out not to be true. And eggs are actually one of the best sources of protein that you can eat. So he's got a great channel. That's Dr. Eric Berg, and he has all kinds of tips and health tips, and he's very much into vitamins and, you know, those sorts of things. So if you have an interest, go on over to his channel. Alright, it's starting to look good. I could have chosen to have a roll with this, but I'm not going to, because I have croutons, and this will be plenty of bread, because this salad is getting to be pretty big and substantial by the time I get the chicken fries on there. So I'm going to wait for my chicken fries. I hear them beeping. I'm going to cut those up and put those on top too. So I would buy these chicken fries again, but Aldi's is notorious for having products and then they kind of disappear. So, but I'm not going to buy any more of those right now, because it would defeat my purpose. If they have them, they have them. If they don't, they don't. So, I think that looks pretty good. And this will be plenty to fill me up. A lot of times I overestimate how much I can eat, and then by the time I'm 3/4 of the way through my meal, I'm just stuffed, but I eat it anyway. So I want to try and change that. So I need a little more dressing on here. This is just ranch from Aldi's. That's my favorite light ranch dressing. Alright, so here is my meal, my dinner, day 139, and I think it'll be tasty. Alright, I'll be back to say goodbye shortly. Okay, dinner was delicious. There's plenty to fill me up. It had plenty of protein in it from the not chicken fingers. The peas added protein, the egg added protein. So plenty of nutritious food in there. And yeah, the pea salad was really good. So another meal in the belly and out of my fridge. But I still have enough for one more salad. I may have another salad like that tomorrow because it was really tasty. All right, that's all I have for you today. I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself, be good to others. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. Thanks for watching.